Happy Monday. Today is March 9th, Board of Commissioners work session. Madam Clerk, care to call the roll, ma'am?
Commissioner Richardson?
Here.
Commissioner Unger?
Here.
Commissioner May?
Here.
Commissioner Smith-Willis?
Here. Thank you. We have no ceremonial recognitions. We do have citizens comment. Patricia Wooldridge, you can come on up. You know the deal. You got a minute. We'll let you know.
Thank you for having me. I just need to know, do I introduce myself and then my time starts? That would be greatly appreciated. My name is Patricia Wooldridge. I think it's been said enough that we know that. Previous city commissioner and definitely a resident of this community. At this time, I will start my time to go into my comments. I'm okay? Okay. Because I'm going to talk a little fast, so I apologize. Sorry. I respectfully express my non-support for the proposed amendment in Section 3920 of the City of Frankfort Code of Ordinances, which has established a 4-year statute of limitations for bringing proceedings before the Board of Ethics measured from the date of the alleged allegation. Ethics violation in public service are often not imitated or immediately visible or apparent. In many cases, when the ethics violation occurs, it's done knowledge and with the intention of being concealed. Because of this, the public, even fellow officials, may not be aware of issues years later. Sometimes only after documentation surfaces, leadership changes, and patterns of behavior become clear. Establishing a strict 4-year limit beginning of the date of the allegation violation strict shielding misconduct simply because it was remained hidden long enough. Ethics accountability should not depend on how effectively a violation has been concealed or hidden. If the city is to maintain a limitation period, a more appropriate standard would be one that begins in the violation is discovered or reasonably should be discovered, or one that extends beyond the equivalent of 2 mayor terms or a complete 4-year terms departing the commission, ensuring the accountability remains possible even after a change in leadership. Serving in a public official is a position of public trust. Integrity and character are not optional qualities. They are a foundation of ethical leadership. So thank you to those commissioners that have upheld 2 of the very easy standards. Our community deserves the assurance that when ethical concerns arise, that we can be fully examined and addressed regardless of how much time has passed since the act occurred. The purpose of an ethics ordinance is not to protect those in power, but to protect the public and uphold the integrity of our institutions. For that reason, I cannot support an amendment that may unintentionally limit the ability of our community to hold its leaders accountable. Recent events continue to remind us how, at times, actions at the local level can appear to change in the ways that benefit those that should instead be subject to transparency and accountability. The current discussion surrounding proposed ethics change comes on the heels of an ethics complaint that I filed against then-candidate and local resident that the complaint was unanimously dismissed because of its determined it was frivolous, unsupported by evidence or documentation. While the complaint had no merit, it did encourage me to look a little closer on the broader sides of circumstances surrounding it. As my mother always told me, when accusations are made with no substance at all, it is often worth listening carefully and examining the facts. In doing so, I discovered concerns regarding taking by mayor a previous trip trying to represent our city. Based on the information available, the trip appears to be proceeded without prior commission approval and without standard documentation that has accompanied all of his other trips. Questions have been arised regarding travel expenses, and they have exceeded the allowable limits outside the city ethics guidelines. At this time, appointments were made to Board of Ethics during a political sensitive period. When the board later fulfilled its duties and acted independently, the response was to cover or to challenge the board and to pursue a legal action against it, resulting in additional taxpayers' expense. Also leads to 2 women not being reappointed, maybe in retaliation of self-inflicted violation, or possibly removing Republicans because I'm clearly aware that there are appointed Republicans when it benefits the mayor. Over time, patterns of conduct often reveal themselves. Concerns have been raised about our negative interactions with city leading, making 3 women alone on the city staff cry that I've seen. He has now people of faith, he has yelled at them because I've spoken at their church. Even temper tantrums to nonprofit leaders that has asked me to speak at their events or I've shown up at their events. And local businesses have been chastised because of my sign in their windows. When does it stop?
1 minute.
Reports of this intimidating and confrontational behavior during campaign and now, including attempts to discourage individuals and organizations from engaging with me publicly or troubling, deserve reflection. Let me be clear. I am not motivated by jealousy, resentment, or political rival. My work and my path are guided by faith, service, and commitment to this community. Integrity requires that you hold ourselves the same standards that we would expect from others. I didn't gain the title of mayor, but that didn't stop me from working hard for my community, the flood victims, and the residents and nonprofits in this community. Just because I don't post it doesn't mean I'm not working. My value and respect for people's privacy and respect that God will have a say in my works. For that reason, I believe the community deserves transparency and the opportunity to understand the full truth surrounding the matters. I respectfully ask that we all allow the facts to come forward on the public so the public can make an informed decision about the leadership and accountability that we expect from those we serve. Thank you for your time. I am Patricia Waldridge, let's get that right, always intimidated, always imitated, never duplicated, and I will always stand with our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to staff reports.
First, in staff reports, we have an update from Eric Cockley for the Development Code rewrite. If y'all can remember, we're going to add this kind of to every work session, and if he has an update, he has one. If not, he's going to kind of just say where we're at in the process.
Hey, Eric.
Hey guys, last week I believe we had our first kind of public open house to kind of share some of the larger themes of the Development Code rewrite. Now that we've kind of got a good amount of it drafted to one condition or another. Had pretty decent turnout, maybe 20, 25 people came. That material, the presentation that our consultant did, which if you haven't seen it, will be getting loaded to the project website, distilledtogether.com, sometime this week, as well as some of our other information just about where we are and the process and all that to keep that website up to date. Other than that, work continues. We're 2 weeks into a weekly meeting between city and county staff where we're literally going back to chapter 1 of the draft development code, getting into a room together with the whole group and starting to read through it all to kind of get into the weeds and make sure we understand as we've gone from, component to putting the whole thing together and looking through. So, and hope soon to get some feedback. We've gotten some already from interested stakeholders that are actually familiar with using the code, that kind of things. And just work continues. So we're trying hard and fast to have this thing done by July.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Eric? Commissioner Unger?
Thank you for the quick update. I was wondering, I was unable to attend the open house. I was wondering, you sort of mentioned some feedback. Was there anything specific that anyone brought up, or maybe changes that people would like to see that are worth noting?
Nothing terribly specific. There's a lot of good conversation and just questions about how we might do this or that or the other thing. We had a few folks that were, I know we've heard members of the community be interested in the whole dark sky movement and bird safe glass and that kind of thing. So that came up as far as any specific things that questions were asked about. Beyond that, I mean, we kind of set up the different stations with different kind of sections of the code intentionally to kind of drive just discussion and questions, but no other, critiques or very specific like requests beyond that kind of thing.
Okay, just wondering. Thank you.
Commissioner Richardson?
Were there any, with this rewrite, I've talked to some people, some business owners in the community. Do we have any representation from any businesses or folks that, developers or organizations that of that sort?
We've actually shared the draft with a couple of local engineers that work on the development side. Okay. And early on when we started this, immediately following the comp plan, we also reached out to several members of the community around all sides of the whole zoning thing, including, folks that work in development. Yeah. And got feedback before we even started with the current code. What do you not like? What do you like? What would you like to see in the new code our old code doesn't see? And so that's helped to inform our process. Didn't learn a heck of a lot we didn't already know, those of us that have been working with the code for a long time and what we, had already heard through the comp plan process. But just here in the last 3 weeks, as we've tried to share some of the actual language with a few of those stakeholders, that's what I'm waiting to hear back. A couple of members of the local engineering community and other folks that actually are used to using our regs and whose work, we've reached out to utility folks, to the plant board, to Kenny at Sewers, just to make sure anything we're proposing that's going to be adjacent to what they have to do makes sense. So we're trying to include those folks.
Okay. Because obviously, I don't like the word easy, efficient. I talk to a lot, that was one of the things I do. My wife being in banking for over 30 years, that's part of her job is, and I've visited the DIG group quite a bit, the Development Institute group. I would like to see and make sure that, I'm assuming this rewrite is gonna help things be more efficient when it comes to developing new business, whatever it may be, when it comes to utilizing the city.
Yeah, we want to have strong standards, but we've been clear from both city and county staff to the consultants that we're trying to thread that needle from like quality standards, but also easy to use, easy to understand, not onerous, complex processes if you don't need them and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's the goal.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mr. Eric.
Thank you.
Next in staff reports, you have an update on electronic records RFP. I'm just going to do it from here if you all don't mind. We released a digitization of our records RFP. We took this through the Innovation Technology Committee. This is something that we started Innovation Technology Committee kind of looking into, and it's a needed process. So we released that RFP. We got the results back, or all the respondents back on Thursday. We received 7 respondents. The price ranges anywhere from $17,000 to $266,000. So it's quite a broad range. Charmaine and I are going to go through those. And the goal is to go through those, kind of pick out who we can eliminate off just what we're looking for, and then take that back through the Innovations Tech Committee on a special call, let them see it, and hopefully get that process going. This will be, our whole goal in this is to have a open-facing website that community can search for contracts. Any open records can go through there as far as they want to know ordinances, contracts, and any other things in city records. So it's the full digitization of everything in the vault.
Nice, thank you. Any questions for Mr. City Manager? We're good? All right.
Maybe one.
Oh, Commissioner May.
So we'll make a vote on this at our voting meeting at the end of March, or do you think this will be April or May?
This would probably, I don't know if we'll get a turnaround quick enough time to get it to the voting meeting. So if we want it faster, we could probably do it at the work session if needed. Tech committee, look them over.
All right, thank you.
But there's a wide range of prices. so
Yeah,
we
could
kinda
you
gotta
throw
figure
those
this out.
numbers out? You were talking so fast.
17,000 to 266,000 between the 7 responses. That average,
What is the big-
266 was way high.
Why is there so a big, that's I don't know about you, but that's kind of a,
The average in the middle was around that 80 to 90 was about where most of them were. We had one really low, one really high, and the rest were around that 80 to 90 mark.
and what, was that just to digitize everything, a one-time deal, or?
They digitize it, and then it's a yearly subscription, which is only around, probably average $4 or $5 grand that they maintain a website for us. Everything stays digital.
Okay.
Right now, the way the city operates, if I want to see what contracts coming due, or I'm researching something, I go to Charmaine. She pulls out a big book. She looks through paper, all this stuff, and it takes time out of her day. And then we
Oh, I
find, then
agree.
we go to the vault, we go to whatever drawer it's in, we find this contract.
No, I'm
So-
100%.
This will, our goal is to also have this linked to our website, so citizens can look, find all this stuff themselves as well.
No, I think this is a good move. I just was curious. I heard those numbers and I was like, wow, that's a big discrepancy.
It's, one was really low, one was really high, everyone else is right there in the middle.
Well, okay.
Our goal on this
I'll keep my comments to
too is
myself.
Our
Anyone
goal
that can do something for 16,000, that someone charges 266,000, that may not be the best product either.
Yeah,
So,
no, yeah, that's where we're at, that average range is around that 80 to 90 was about that
Okay.
average range, and that's probably what it's gonna
is
cost.
there a way that the companies that we are looking at, that we can kind of get references? Because that's
Mm-hmm.
my big thing, is always, hey, tell me some cities or some counties or entities that you've done this with, and we can call and at least
Yeah,
say,
it-
hey,
Most of them are, half of them at least are state contract.
Okay.
Through Library and Archives, we sent it out to that group whenever
Okay.
we issued it. So they should be reputable groups. And we've also got some requirements of keeping everything on site, doing it here. We don't want things packed up and traveled. These are 1,800, some of these documents.
So you said that you are gonna have a special call meeting in the next 2 weeks possibly?
Yeah, we'll have one set up for innovations in tech.
Got it.
And this will make everything keyword searchable, all that off that database.
And this is for anybody in the community that could?
Yes,
Okay.
our goal is to have a forward-facing, a link from our website that goes to that database, plus we can use it internally.
Nice. Efficient, we like it. All right, anybody else have any other questions? Moving on to discussion items.
First in discussion items, we have invasive task force with Anna.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Your hair is so cute,
Oh,
by the way.
thanks. I had to put it up because I've been
Cute,
painting.
I like it.
My name is Anna Claire Rogers, and I'm an Extension and Research Associate at Kentucky State University with their Forestry and Natural Resource Extension Program. I'm here on behalf of the Franklin County Joint Task Force on Invasives. I also sit on that task force as a member. And does this work? Okay, awesome. Just so we're on the same page, I'll try not to spend too much time on this, but the problem with non-native invasive plants, characteristics are of invasive plant species include aggressive spreading tendencies and rapid growth. This leads to loss of biodiversity, loss of cultural heritage, costly impacts to agriculture and forestry, as well as increased maintenance in parks and rights-of-ways. I do have a QR code there that links to the new field guide for invasives that the Kentucky Invasive Plant Council, as well as UK Forestry, put together. And so I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page about what a non-native invasive plant is before we keep going. And then this is just a little information. I don't know who's new to City Council, but just a little history of the task force. It was formed in the spring of 2021, so I guess we're on our fifth anniversary, if I'm doing my math right, between the city and the county. And it's made up of diverse stakeholders and expert partners. We meet once quarterly to talk about ongoing and future invasive plant efforts in the region. All right, so now that we're all on the same page, I just wanted to give y'all an oversight of what the task force has been up to in the past year. I'm sure y'all are familiar with the work parties that RIP, which is the volunteer arm of the task force, Remove Invasive Partnerships, puts on. We put on 6 of them this past year. We actually had more on the calendar, but the weather does not always cooperate. And these are parties, they're volunteer work days, we call them parties. And members, volunteers come and they can learn about invasive species and removal methods. These are done in green spaces in Franklin County, so in your park systems and other locations that are shared by the community. Here's some photos of some removal. I wanted to highlight where, I don't know if this pointer's working, but down here in the very bottom photo, we are getting some wildflower regeneration in East Frankfort Park, which that used to be a park that was known for its spring ephemeral wildflowers. The bush honeysuckle there's a ton of it, but where we are removing, we are getting these spring wildflowers coming back up, which is very exciting and just really pushes you to want to do this more. That's a trillium for those of you that are familiar with wildflowers. Education and awareness. Every year, the task force hosts Bradford Bounty, which is a day that folks that have Bradford pear trees on their property can cut it down, bring a picture, and trade it in for a native tree of their choice. Last year, we collected 85 of these removed invasive evidence of removed invasive pear tree and exchanged those for native replacements. The date for 2026, I just got it, is April 18th. I don't have the flyer yet, but I can send that over to y'all. It will be in conjunction with the usual Earth Day event. I believe that's at right down the street, sorry. It's at this beautiful old.
It's at the Veterans.
Yes.
It's at the Veterans in the library archives.
Yes, it's in that area down there. And I believe Reforest Frankfort is also going to be that day. So there's going to be a lot going on April 18th. Also, we did make a website this year. There's a QR code leading to it. And it just contains information about the task force, priority areas, information about invasive plant species, as well as resources to grants and things like that for landowners through the NRCS for removal. So that's going to be all in one location for citizens. The big undertaking this year was we know about, I'm sure there's more, we know about 6 sites in Franklin County that have kudzu on them, which obviously this isn't what Central Kentucky is known for, but if it got out of control, it could be known for a kudzu. So we are working with private and public partners on some kudzu populations to get them in their first year of treatment. It will take a few years. But partners include Buffalo Trace. They have a pretty large kudzu patch on their trails out in the back. Castle and Key also has one. We also partnered with Frankfort Public Works, and then several private landowners and farmers. So this is a big undertaking, and we did our first year at, I think, 3 of those sites. A few of them, like the one at Buffalo Trace, is a little big, and we've got to get the big guns out. So I've been getting like an ATV mounted sprayer and things like that ready to go for this year. But that will be ongoing in 2026. I think I think I added a slide just about what's next, but I guess I didn't update it in time. We are going to continue to work on like kudzu, like I mentioned. We're going to continue with our work parties as well. And we also just want to continue to find both public and private collaborators that are interested in this. I will say from the top down, this is a growing issue of invasive plant species, well, invasive species in general are a USDA priority with this administration. And so I think we're going to be seeing more national language about it. I think we're also going to be seeing more opportunities for funding for this. So I want to put that on your radar as well. I also wanted to mention that House Bill 640 is going to be on the table this year. It was last year, but I think they like submitted a little late, and the timing didn't work out. But this is essentially, I don't know the details of it because it does keep changing, but essentially we don't currently have a list of invasive plant species that can be legislated from. We just have what the Kentucky Invasive Plant Council puts together, which we are releasing a new one this year. I serve as secretary. And there's no governing list, if that makes sense. There's nothing that the horticulture industry or the farming industry could look at and say, this is we all understand together that this is an invasive plant species. So because of that, there's also not a way for us to say this is banned or this is, this is something that we're not going to promote in our state anymore. So I'm not going to tell you how to feel about that, but do your research on it. We're certainly in support of there being some sort of framework, but 640 is coming down the pipeline, and I just wanted to put that on y'all's radar. Yeah. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them the best I can, and I appreciate y'all making time for us. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I got COVID, and my timeline is really messed up, but I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, the end of February was National Invasive Species Week, so we always try to come and give y'all a little update around that time. So, any questions?
Well, thank you, Ms. Rogers. I swear I learn something new every time I get up here, especially about things like this. So thank you for educating me. I am rather newer to the board, so this is really good to put on my radar, especially with the House Bill 640. So I will be doing my research. Thank you. Does any of the other commissioners, Commissioner Unger?
Yeah, just a quick comment. Thank you for coming. I know Commissioner May and I were a part of the board that approved the initial group coming together, and so it's great to see how you guys have grown and the work parties are still going, and like the improvement that you showed with the Trillium, that's really exciting. So I remember a time when I worked part-time for the city and out at Cove Springs, this was probably like 20 some years ago, I was just pulling garlic mustard by like the handful for hours, and like it did a little something, I'm sure, but it's great to see this active group and an improvement happening in our parks and our community. So if there is federal funding, please, have the group reach out to us, and if we can partner and help, just let us know.
Absolutely. And we do, I forgot to mention this, we do have another work party coming up on Saturday, March 21st. I can make sure to get that flyer over to you once it's approved. I need to double check the location. We try to work with Parks and Recreation closely and make sure we're not double booking with big events. So I need to double check with them, but it will likely be at East Frankfort Park, which is, it's perfect timing to see wildflowers coming up, where we've been doing this removal. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
Thank you.
Have a great day. I hope
You
you're feeling
too.
better.
Oh, yeah. It just was, yeah.
Rough 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right.
Item number 2 in discussion, we have What Can I Recycle with Sarah Anderson, kind of a review of, where we were without recycling for so long, kind of a citizen's review of recycling.
Yeah. Hey, guys. So the last few meetings, we've been talking very serious, right, about the future of our solid waste program, but we wanted to take a little time to kind of lighten it up and revisit kind of the ins and outs of recycling. So to that end, I am going to recycle a campaign that Communications Director Blair put out on Facebook earlier this year and kind of use it as talking points. So I don't know if you guys saw this when it went out on Facebook. I thought it was kind of cute, so we're just going to kind of go through it and talk through it for everybody. Question 1, does the city have a system for reminders? Excellent question. We do indeed. It's kind of amazing. You can use the web-based version or the app, Frank Waste. You can sign up for calendars. You can see your schedule based on your address. You can sign up for reminders, which is kind of nice. And you can do that through the web. You don't have to have the app if you don't want apps. I know some people are like, oh, I have enough apps. You can do it through the website. You don't have to do that. You also get notifications of any schedule changes. So if there's adverse weather and we have to put things off a day, or if there is a change to what we accept in recycling, all of that can be found on our app. Isn't weekly recycling a service that I'm already paying for? Another excellent question. Kind of. So that right now there is no dedicated fee that anybody pays for trash and recycling. Yes, people pay taxes, and yes, that goes to the general fund, which funds this program. That same bucket of money, as you guys know, also funds darn near everything else. So every year as priorities change, or as, you know, as the group up here changes, there's the potential that how solid waste is funded also changes. So that's where that stands right now. Will my recycling be collected as trash if I put it out on the wrong week? So you guys know back in October 23rd, 7th, whatever date that was, we switched over to doing this bi-weekly recycling. So people got concerned, I don't want to put my recycle cart out on the wrong day and have it picked up as trash. If your recycle cart is out on week A and you're a week B schedule, we are not going to collect it. You simply bring it back to, you know, inside your garage or next to your house, wherever you keep it, until the following week, bring it back out, and then we'll get it with recycling. When should my trash and recycle carts be out for collection? So about 2 years ago, January of 24, I believe, we changed our ordinance to change the time that carts need to be out from 7 a.m. to 6 a.m. We did this because on occasion we have to start early, maybe adverse weather, maybe we're running a double route, we're making up for a holiday. And so the guys want to get started earlier so that they can get to the landfill before it closes. So 6 a.m., you need to have your carts out for collection. Can I use my blue lid bin for trash on my non-recycling week? So your blue lid bin is your recycle cart. We actually, in the ordinance, it talks about that the carts are used for specific purposes only. So your trash is for trash and your recycle is for recycle only. We can't pick up trash out of a recycle bin on your non-recycle weeks. And now Judd's gonna play us a little ditty. So this is one of our more popular, one of our most popular reels from last year, and just kind of an introduction to the next part of our conversation. It's cool, right? Good music. This is CJ. one of our new-ish guys, and he's having a good time with this. That's it. So this is a little reel that we put out back in October when we started doing curbside recycling again. Is that right? Or when we switched? Anyway, so one of the other questions that was asked, what can I put in my blue lid recycling cart? So the city of Frankfort, we partner with the Lexington Municipal Recycling Facility. All of the collected recycling material that we get here in town gets transported to Lexington. So we accept curbside, whatever Lexington accepts. So you can see there kind of what's acceptable: papers, steel and aluminum cans, glass bottles, plastic bottles and jugs, etc. And they have a handy dandy little one-page flyer on their website, which we also reference, that gives a nice visual for anybody who's asking, can I put this in my recycle cart? This is pretty much what you can put in. And if you have questions about whether or not it's okay, you can go to Frank Waste, and they have a which bin is it, or which, I think it's called which bin, and you can just type in the material and it tells you how to dispose of it, which is super handy and cool. Following that, what does not go in my blue lid? Trash, obviously. Any sort of bag, food waste, styrofoam. We get lots and lots of cat litter buckets. So that's a definite no. Discussions, questions. So, absolutely, cat litter buckets. So many of them. So if you go to the Lexington MRF, the Municipal Recycling Facility, if you go to their website, they have a really extensive list of items you can accept and cannot accept. And like I said, we follow that list because that's where our materials go for processing. So I have a teeny tiny little quiz if you guys want to do it about what's accepted and what's not. If you don't want to, that's fine. We'll just talk it through it.
Way to put us on the spot, Sarah.
Lay it on you. Okay, so here's what we're going to do.
Lay it on me.
Hand up for yes, no hand for no, okay? Can I recycle plastic utensils? Very good, absolutely not.
Which one's yes?
No.
Yes,
We're
yes,
unanimous.
hand up.
We're unanimous.
This is yes. No, just hand up for yes, nothing for no.
I need to listen to it.
Oh, my gosh.
We're
Yes.
doing research.
Okay, how about hangers, plastic or metal?
No.
Very good, thank you. Pizza boxes.
Yes.
Oh, that's a tricky one. It's yes and no.
It's good to take out the old pizza. The old pizza.
Yes. So yeah, if it's greasy and funky and nasty, we will not take it. But if it's dry and clean, put it in there.
Copy.
Plastic clamshell, like those takeout boxes, the plastic ones, you know that.
Yes. No.
No.
I said yes.
Plastic, styrofoam's a no.
Toss
No, the
ball
plastic
containers?
ones, like the clear plastic, the clamshells that close like this, no. No. Juice boxes.
Yes.
What's the juice box made of?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh. Why would you make it
Yeah.
more complicated for me?
No, like, you know, like a high C or a juicy juice or an honest, yeah.
I'm gonna say
They're a yes. They're a yes. They're called Terra Packs. So they're layered cardboard or like paperboard and plastic, but they actually can be recycled. So like those cardboard kind of milk jugs, those can go. Capri Suns, no. Very good. Shredded paper,
No.
correct, no.
No.
You can, shredded paper can be recycled, but only by specific facilities. So some people will do,
And they come
like
pick
those
it up,
shredded
right?
days,
Yeah.
you can drop it off for that. Last one, wrapping paper.
No.
No. Correct, yeah.
No.
No, hard no. See?
What about the tube?
I'm gonna say probably. I would check Frank Waste, but yes, I would think probably yes. It's like paperboard, cardboard. I throw them in mine.
I mean, either one.
You could play Star Wars and then put it in your recycle
Yeah,
bin.
that's what I used to do.
Reuse, right, one of the R's. That's all I really have. Do you guys have any questions or
Any
thoughts? Yes,
questions
sir.
from the board, Commissioner May?
This is just for me more than anything. Why not shredded paper if I can put other paper in the cart to go to the recycling center
Fair.
and it be shredded?
So, I should have I should have put a little video. If you go to Lexington's website, they have a video that actually
Okay.
shows the line, the recycle line working. So all the material arrives and they dump it in a big loading area, and then it's fed onto a series of like conveyor belts, and it shakes, it puffs air, it does all this stuff to separate items. Well, the way that they separate paper will not recognize shredded paper.
Fair.
So it ends up just being waste, trash. So if you put shredded paper in your recycle cart, it ends up just going to a landfill. If you
Okay.
save it for a shred day, like the banks do, you can take it usually, and they'll accept it and recycle it.
Okay.
Nice. Thank you, Commissioner Unger.
A couple random ones. We still do the overflow bags, and they're
Yes.
sold at Kroger's,
Yes,
right?
correct.
So for anybody out there that may have extra, you can sit those out anytime,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And then
You don't have to make an appointment for those. Buy the bag,
right.
put it out. Yeah.
But then people can rent extra cans still.
Correct. Yeah, so we
that's
still
something-
do, like bulk collections with or without the carts, depending on what you've got. If you get the carts, you get up to 10 of the large 96-gallon carts, and everything that you put in there, it's a $50 fee.
Okay.
And we'll come and empty them once. If you want to have stuff, bless you, if you want to have stuff outside of the carts, it's $100. And you can do
okay.
that, you can do the $100 one with or without carts as well.
Right.
Good.
And then one more question.
Yes.
If some people have been missed recently, you know, here and there, are they able to report it on the Frank Waste app?
Absolutely. Mhm.
Oh, you can.
You
Okay,
can,
good.
there's a report a problem or ask a question, I can't remember, I think it says report a problem. But we get a lot of those that come in, and it
Good.
actually just comes in as an email to me and several other people. And then we create a work order and go out and fix it. And if it's not something we can get right away, we'll send a message back and let them know that it's in the
That's
works.
great. So that, if you have the app, that is
Yeah.
a good way to report it if
Absolutely.
you don't call in or don't want to call in, so.
For instance, Friday, one half of Tanglewood was missed. The other side of the street got picked up, but the right-hand side did not.
Yeah.
And so we, over the weekend and this morning, we had several people messaging saying, hey, I didn't get picked up. And so we sent messages back out to all those people. By the time I got the messages out, it had already been collected. But, yeah, just to let people know, we heard you, and it'll be picked up.
That's great.
Nice.
Thank you.
I am very thankful for the Frankfort Waste app. One day Milo threw his Momo, it's his blueberry muffins package in there, and I said, Sarah's not gonna kill me, so take it out. So
Yes. I'm
we are
not
working
taking
on
heat
it. We
for
are
this.
learning together. We are learning together. Thank you, Miss Sarah. Any more questions? We're good?
I'll have questions later.
Okay. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I am.
I think, hey, what was our score on the quiz, Sarah? You didn't give us a score. What did we get? Did we get a thumbs up, a high five?
Yes,
Collective.
definitely pass. Yeah, green or red, you guys got green, yes.
Perfect. All right, moving on.
The next item, we have the proposed Technology and Innovation Committee order revision. Last week, we had a Technology and Innovations Committee meeting. This committee, and Commissioner May is on this committee along with Mayor Wilkerson, and this committee is rolling. We're going through all kinds of different upgrades. That's where the records came through. We have a lot of stuff going through there. And we've also been discussing solar energy and things like that. So we kind of come up with this proposal of maybe adding sustainability as part of that committee. Not financial sustainability, but solar, things like that, energy efficiencies. That's kind of what we've been talking about in that committee anyway. So we came up with a proposal, and the committee kind of wanted to recommend to the Board of Commissioners making that change to go Technology Innovations and Sustainability Committee. It gives it a home. A few years back, the city did all the NREL studies. That gives it a place for that to live, and we can start working that process and getting that going through that committee. And I just wanted to kind of present that to you all and see if there's any pushback on that, or any Commissioner May can chime in if he has anything to add on that.
Tell us more, Commissioner May.
Well, I'll just, kind of echo the same sentiment. Yeah, we have a lot of opportunities to increase our energy resiliency and the efficiency, which translates into cost savings for the city. But it's a big project, and it does need accountability and a place to kind of go to, and rather than trying to branch out and create another separate position or another separate committee, it just felt like with the discussions and the things we're already doing in tech and innovation, that it felt home there. So that was the idea, was to, just kind of give it, like you said, its landing place to where these conversations can continue to then bring to the board for action if necessary.
Great. Thank you for serving on that committee.
My pleasure.
And our goal would be to bring that at the voting meeting with those changes to that order.
Nice. All right. Nothing else? Moving on to action items. We have a first reading. Seeking a sponsor. Forgot that part.
I'll
Commissioner
sponsor.
May.
An ordinance amending City of Frankfort Code of Ordinances, Section 39.20, relating to limitation of actions before the Board of Ethics. This ordinance amends Section 39.20 of the City of Frankfort Code of Ethics to specify the conditions under which proceedings can be initiated before the Board of Ethics and establish a 4-year statute of limitations for bringing such proceedings measured from the date of the alleged violation.
Any discussion on this? Commissioner Unger.
Just a quick question. We did speak earlier, and one of the things I asked was, is this similar to other cities' ethics ordinances? You know, can you compare
Yes,
to other?
it is. And actually, if you all would, I realize this is causing quite a bit of confusion, it sounds like in the community and among you guys. So if you would bear with me for a couple minutes, I'll give a really short.
We need the utmost detail.
Okay, okay. So if you look at your memorandums, and the one that I wrote, actually, because I think it's a little simpler. So our original ordinance is literally one sentence, and it said, this is all about limitations of actions, when you can bring them, how long you have to bring them, et cetera. And all it said is unless there's a statute of limitations that otherwise applies under state law, an action for a violation of this chapter must be brought within 1 year after the complainant becomes aware of the violation. That's all it said. So that created some confusion. And trust me, our ethics ordinance looks just like pretty much every other city ethics ordinance in the state of Kentucky. We're all working off the same basic template that went out 20 years ago. This language is a little vague when you look at it, and unfortunately, when we had a recent appeal of a Board of Ethics decision, the judge's opinion created a little more confusion about what this one sentence means. What was always intended, and what is intended by every city around the state, is that if you find out, you quite literally find out about something that does spark the need for an ethics complaint to be filed, you need to do that within 1 year. You have a year from when you find out to be able to file the ethics complaint. It's in every ethics ordinance across the state of Kentucky, pretty much. So the judge, unfortunately, there was some language in there that added some confusion. For one thing, it seemed to imply that a court action had to be brought within 1 year, not just a complaint filed before the Board of Ethics. So the opinion made it seem that, it was meant to be a court action. That's not what was intended. We are saying a year from the day to bring any sort of ethics complaint or issue, and the board, this applies to the board itself too, if they were doing an investigation. 1 year from the date you actually find out, to bring something to the Board of Ethics. So, are you wanting to ask a question?
Nope, I am aligned. I'm listening.
Okay.
My brain is thinking, my face said it, sorry.
Okay, no, you're totally fine.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Richardson.
So, is it fair to say the way we have it written right now,
Uh-huh.
would that be fair to say that I'm looking at 3920 brought within 1 year after the complaint became aware of the violation, that's forever? There's no limit to that, meaning.
That's right. Okay,
So
I understand
the way
what you're
it's
saying.
written right
Yes,
now,
yes.
And I'm pretty good, I'm pretty good on elements of law. But the element of this statute, which I'll call it a statute because it's a local statute, it's saying that it is an unlimited timeline for anyone.
Okay, let me let me explain this
So,
part.
I want you.
I will answer this.
Yeah.
But it requires me to explain just, for a one-sentence ordinance that we're now changing to like two sentences, it's so
Yeah.
confusing. But basically, okay, so the only thing this said was that you have a year from the discovery, or you become aware of an issue to bring it to the ethics board. It set no limits on how long you have to bring it from the time the incident allegedly occurred. So,
So I guess,
cool, I have background.
so let me ask you a question, with that being said. I worked for the city, I retired in 17, that's 8 years ago. So if there would be, if someone brought an ethics said, hey, okay, Rob had an ethics violation back in 2005. The way this is written now, technically, and they said, I just found out about it. I just found out about something that happened in 2005.
right.
And I just became aware within 3 weeks, the way it's written right now, it holds water.
In theory, somebody could bring that to the Board of Ethics. Now, depending on what it is, there might be some other statute of limitations
Well,
that applies.
and I got another question. It involves state and federal statutes.
Sure.
But I'm just, I
Yes,
want
but
to wrap
in theory, yes.
Okay.
Somebody could
All right.
say, I know this happened in 2005. I know Rob is now, 95 years old and living in Florida, but
That was very precise.
Want to be in mine?
No, I'm just, I'm, you know how I am. I mean, I lived and breathed elements
Yes.
of crime.
Yes.
When I read this, I read your memo, but I really didn't wrap my head around until I compared it to the new ordinance.
right.
And the way our old ordinance is, it's unlimited.
That is
It'd be for your
correct.
lifetime. If
That
you were a
is-
city employee, or served here, you basically, now obviously it had to be something to do within your purview of your,
Within, yes, that is actually
yeah.
subject to the ethics code.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and that is a standard that is completely, I don't know of any ethics board or organization that would just set an unlimited time or intended to just set a completely unlimited time. That's not how the law is established. When it has statute of limitations exists for all sorts of things. And there's a reason for that. It's because, at some point it just goes too far back. So the 4-year that I went ahead and added to this ordinance, it basically says from the time the alleged violation occurs, you have 4 total years to bring that. That is in line with the other cities in Kentucky that have addressed it so far. I've also talked to a couple of cities that are in the process of creating a statute of limitations because they don't want something from 15 years ago, now, and again, let me say this too, that does not mean that there aren't other avenues. There may be something that occurred that is criminal or has some other element that could be brought under a different process. But we are talking about just for the ethics board. So 4-year limitation, statute of limitation is in line with the trend of other cities in Kentucky.
So with this amendment, the one that you did, this is
Yes.
the one that before you amended it, or before we amended it, was that aligned with other cities as well? Or does this 1-2 sentence switch up? Is that what makes us align with other municipalities?
So
Okay.
it may not read exactly the same way. I mean, a lot of cities still have this one sentence in their ordinance, and it's probably because they haven't had anything come along that has caused confusion or, caused the need for interpretation. And sometimes that's how you just find out that there's an issue. But I think there's some chatter going on some of the listservs and things like that, to look into this stuff. There's actually a lot of changes I think that cities are wanting to bring to these ethics codes to modernize them. And so this may not be the last. But basically, so the 1-year period is just clarifying. The judge's opinion, unfortunately, it indicated that if something is a public record and it's existed for longer than a year, then somebody who finds out about it and brings it is out of luck because it was in a public record, which is really difficult for staff, the ethics board, who has no business, trying to determine what constitutes a public record. Then they come to us, they're bringing city staff into it, and we're supposed to be completely separate from the ethics board. It's just, that would have been a very confusing and strange result. So we're changing the language just a little to say what was always intended and how it's always been interpreted, which is you find out about it, you have a year to bring it. You have 4 total years from the time that it actually occurred. Does that?
Where did you come up with the 4 total years?
4 total years is actually, and I think the ethics board had recommended 5. We did 4 just to keep it in line with Owensboro. Let's see, I think that's the one, Bowling Green. Don't hold me to that. I think it's Bowling Green that's considering it, a couple of other cities, but 4 years because it's the term of a mayor or 2 terms, unfortunately, for commissioners. But 4 years is a pretty standard statute of limitations. So that's why we put it in there. So in some ways, yes, this does make it easier for someone to, not easier, but it clarifies that it is easy to bring an ethics complaint. You don't have to have had knowledge just because it was out there somewhere in a public record. You have a year, not from that time when it existed, but a year from when you directly find out about it, which again was always the intent of this ordinance. We just needed to clarify it based on the opinion. And that happens a lot with court opinions. They accidentally, they just use language that unfortunately sets a standard that's going to be difficult to follow. So we just want to make sure that we address our ordinance, make it clear, don't waste anybody's time and money, because now they can clearly understand exactly what the standard is.
And this was brought to light because of the circuit court opinion.
Yes.
Anybody else have any?
I mean, I just roughly Googled statute of limitations while sitting here on ethics. I mean, it varies.
Yeah.
New York
yeah.
City has 5.
So,
was the first one that
and
popped
we can
up.
totally, if you all want to talk about a different number, totally fine. This was
I would be
just-
comfortable with that. I don't
Sure.
know. I don't know. I want to, and no disrespect.
No, none
Please.
taken, and this was just something, honestly, I looked at it and said, what do other cities do? Okay, let's do what they do, just on this particular
And the
issue.
reason
We
I
can do
say
it
that
more.
is I hold myself in high regard. I worked here too long, and ethics that's a big thing.
Sure.
I mean, when it comes to law enforcement, you may not be able to shoot real well, you may not be able to drive real well, but once you compromise your character, chief, that's pretty bad, isn't it? So, in fact, bad enough that you may not be a police officer anymore in the state of Kentucky or anywhere else. So, I do think I would like to look at this a little closer. I would. Just,
Okay.
And then maybe the 4 years we go with, right? I mean, I don't know. Right?
Listen.
Are we voting? Is this voting?
No, it's just
No,
the first reading.
however.
This is discussion, right?
This is discussion, this is a first reading, but I do want to bring something to your attention. And this is me not doing what I yell at everybody for not doing in a memo for a work session, which is I did not explain the reason why we have an action item on the work session. And that is because the ethics board has no interest in going to the Court of Appeals to get this language dealt with.
Yeah.
We can do it ourselves.
I agree.
So let's do that, saves time and money for everybody.
I wanna-
But we are on a deadline.
What's our deadline?
So, it is,
Oh, boy, I love deadlines.
yep, sorry.
No, hey, don't be sorry. Look,
Is it, maybe, I don't know if it's in here or not. It basically, I think it's the day of our voting meeting, or maybe the day of the work session in April. It is very soon. Basically, if we don't get 2 readings in by the voting meeting, the time to actually ask the Court of Appeals for clarification is gonna end. So we want to get it done.
I'm not, I mean, and that's why correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. City Manager, but that's what a special meeting could be called for, correct?
100%.
I mean, I'm not too, I mean, as long as I have the date, right, because I don't want to kick the can down the road. I do
That's
think
right.
this is very important. And the reason I say that is, and I don't know about, I'll speak for myself, other than one appointment to any committee, or is it a board that we have?
Yes.
I call every one of these applicants, and I do an interview, because if I'm going to vote on someone, I want to know something about them. We recently did vote on someone on the ethics board. I called and spoke to that person for 45 minutes. Very, very pleased with them. I do believe when it comes to ethics, I do think that, I don't know how that's governed with, I would hope that political affiliation should not matter. However, in times, I understand the concern with that, but I would hope that that's considered, right? Because we do have people that are ultra-conservative and maybe ultra-liberal, I get that. Hopefully, we have some people down the middle. I mean, I would like to think everyone on the ethics board is somewhere in the middle. Because, what's funny is, having a law enforcement background doesn't matter where you come from. If you violate the law and the elements of that crime are met, you violated the law. That's
Right.
just, it doesn't matter where you are on the hierarchy of anything, or political beliefs.
Right.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking, but I do want the public to know that I call these people and talk to them, and I think I think every one of us do that. I'm not, I've lived here over 30 years, I'm not from here, but I would imagine that Commissioner May and Commissioner Unger, actually Commissioner Smith-Willis, they're from here, they know a lot of people. I do too, but I don't want you to think I'm wasting your time either.
Not a bit.
Maybe the 4 years is the way we go, I don't
No.
know, but I want some time
This
to.
is the purpose of a first
I
reading.
know it's a work session, I just want
And-
to bounce this back and forth, but I truly believe that this is important, because one thing is for sure, holding ourselves in high standard and our employees, right? I can hope that in the back, we expect the best, and people and act the best, right? When it comes to ethics. Because I understand people make mistakes, but I always had a wise person told me, there's mistakes of the heart, and there's mistakes in the mind. And those are different, and and people don't realize that at times, and in a leadership position, we have to take that in consideration.
True. And the Board of Ethics did ask for 5 years.
I know, yeah.
And I don't want y'all to think I was going against the Board of Ethics.
No, I don't
literally
think that.
was just,
I'm glad you gave me Owensboro and Bowling Green. I
Yeah.
know quite a few people there. I
Yeah.
would like to talk to them, and
Sure.
I plan to do so. The chief in Owensboro is a really good friend of mine, and Art Elam is a great guy. The chief in Bowling Green is a really good friend of mine. So I'll be calling them and
Call
talking
them
to
up.
them.
Absolutely.
And again, it's not, I think this, I'm glad we're addressing this, and to the board, I would say it's important enough that we talk among ourselves individually, and that if we have to have a special meeting, obviously we'll bring the mayor up to speed that we do so.
Sure. And we can definitely do that. You guys can let us know, take a look, think about it, call around, talk to people, do whatever you feel like you need to do. And then, Jason, we can call as long as we get it
Yeah.
done by the voting meeting.
But our ordinance would not, if I'm correct, it doesn't supersede any state law or federal law.
No.
Correct?
No,
When
no,
it's
no.
criminal, it's criminal.
No, this is just for our local ethics board.
And to let the public know, there are statute of limitations within our legal system as well. Sometimes the public doesn't understand, but there are statute of limitations when it comes to state laws.
Yes.
So that's important, especially in a misdemeanor, a whole bunch.
Yes, they do exist for a reason, but this is completely up to you all. 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, it's up to you guys.
Yeah.
So we need to talk amongst ourselves and our friends at other municipalities before the 23rd, and we might have a special call meeting.
That is correct.
Copy.
Did you say April 23rd?
No, March
No, March
this
23rd,
month.
our voting
Oh.
meeting.
April?
All right, I'm looking for that.
March?
If you don't care, I'd like to have that date in April.
Yes, and I will.
No, I don't need it right now.
I don't know
Yeah.
why I can't remember it, but I can find that out for you immediately.
You're busy. I understand that. And now Commissioner Richardson has just made you busier. I'm
Nah,
sorry.
it's totally fine.
Love it. All right. We're good? Any more questions? All right, if that's it, we will move on to discussion of tentative agenda. Mr. Mayor does a good job at this, but from what I see, we might have a special call meeting for the Tech and Innovation Committee, correct? Possibly a special call meeting before the voting meeting for this ordinance. Anybody have anything else that they would like to call out?
I don't know if I call it now, but obviously sanitation
It's
is
coming up. I think that's on our.
maybe unfinished business.
A few meetings back, I think the March voting meeting was when it was set to.
So it's on there.
Yes,
It could-
it's on our tentative agenda right now, yes.
How, can I ask how it's on there?
It is just on there with the placeholder. We haven't, I'm getting difference of opinions
Okay.
when I speak to you all, so we have to clean that up in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Deadlines.
All right. I'm locked in.
All right, well, that's a good segue into unfinished business. Besides solid waste, anything else anybody have?
I'll go to unfinished business. I'd
Yes, sir.
like to discuss with Sarah a little bit about solid waste, if we could. Is that possible? Am I allowed? Yeah.
If, sure. She's
Alexa,
thinking.
play Sarah smile. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Sarah. A few things I want to clarify. First, I'm going to make some statements first. And the very first one is, a lot of information has been fed to the public that is not true. I have fielded probably anywhere from 25 to 50 phone calls, emails. I'm a little disappointed in the way it was presented to our public in the media. I talked to several people, and at no time, I had several people even say that, well, that wasn't in the paper like that. Well, because, once again, I would ask our newspaper to really help us engage the community and not be so decisive in making us printing factual stuff, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe call down and ask before it's printed, because it really threw a lot of the public into a disarray. So that's my first statement. My second is, I was very impressed with the Zoom calls we had, with getting to talk to the entities. And, you know, I just kind of want to, out of all this, I want to hear what do you think? I know where I stand. I think I've shared that with you. But how do you think? And the reason I say there's many layers to sanitation.
Sure.
And I want the public to know a part of the layer is the cost, and that's a big thing right now. I pulled up your, you know, I just pulled this up just to refer. You know, we've got in-house do nothing. It's anywhere from $3.1 to $3.6 million, and that's important for the public to know that. It's equivalent to somewhere around $28, $29 pricing.
Correct.
What I'm most concerned about is, after talking with Amber today and even before, is our financial situation with the city overall and our needs in other areas. And I would never try to pit one department against another, but Commissioner May and I have a meeting tomorrow with public safety, and I'm sure what's going to come up in there are issues with, we need to replace some ambulances, and we have a radio system that needs, and we had a presentation here. Comes with a price tag, and there's only so much money after we consider, we roughly need to hold back 3 months, and according to Amber, that's right around 11, let's say 12 million. We've got 14 million. I'm spitballing numbers here because I didn't want to put her on the pressure. So we don't have millions of dollars laying around when it comes to, I'm trying to pull that up, the cost of these trucks. But basically, you put in here anywhere from 450 to 900,000 for 1 to 2 vehicles a year.
Yes.
So let's just round that up. We haven't purchased them, because I know today, things are not going to be today. It's going to cost us more tomorrow, so roughly $1 million. That's where I'm coming from. I want the public to know that. And I will say this, we have several things on the horizon for revenue. But I'm not going to count on what we have on deck, because we don't have that money with us, I at no point, I know we discussed up here passing that cost on to the public, but what I would like to do is, this is the way I feel today. Let me ask you your opinion before I reveal how
That's
I
okay.
feel.
On
What
how
is-
to
what
move
is your-
forward with solid waste collection services, right?
Yes.
We have really, really, really amazing staff. And they do an excellent job. And I think they do pretty much the best they can every day, given what they have at their disposal. That said, I do think that the responsible thing to do is to outsource this service. The private companies, this is their bread and butter. This is everything that they do all day, every day. Their livelihoods depend on it. We have a staff of 20-ish that's all they do. But as you pointed out, there's a lot of other departments and divisions in the city. So if you look at the city as a whole, right, we're focused on this and we're focused on that, and solid waste is just a little piece of that, and it's a big, important piece. It's a public health related piece, but it's just a piece. And so we were saying, can't pit one program against another, but when it comes time for budget, I mean, that kind of is what has to happen a little bit. And so I think personally that it's the responsible way to move forward is to privatize the service.
Well, that's where I'm at, and not just that, but I think we should pay for it. Because I think, and I don't want to steal Commissioner May's thunder, but the city not only retains control, because if we pay for it, we retain some control.
Correct.
But we also gain a partner.
Correct. A partner that,
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
well, I'll
Let's
quote
share
him.
the thunder.
Let's share it.
I'll
Let's
quote
share
what
it.
he said. He said, we gain a partner that's motivated to
Yeah.
do an excellent job
Yeah.
because that is their entire, that's their livelihood. That's,
And what I
they can't
liked
afford
about
to do a
it
bad job.
is they mentioned in these conversations that if they had a truck breakdown, or if they have issues, they have such a wide fleet or
Deep bench.
deep bench that they can pull people in from other areas to collect. And it's one thing that we don't have. And I don't know what happened. I don't know why obviously I do know a few years ago, I attended a meeting and a past city manager brought this up. And I thought it very odd, I did, but maybe there was some writing on the wall, and part of it is the expense of it. People are expensive, equipment is expensive, and unfortunately, we've got a lot of big ticket items on the books right now too. We have a meeting center, we've talked about Riverbank, what was our Riverbank thing? There you go, I couldn't think. I'm
Riverbank
sorry,
Visiting.
I'm old. We talked about that. We've got the whispers about a pool, right? And so there's all these things. So what we have to do up here is think about service to our city, what they're used to and what they deserve and what we need to get them. But then we've got some, what I call some quality of life things and some really things on the horizon that we need to consider as well, especially like I said, when it comes to the ambulances and the radio system. And there's, and the other thing is, let's knock on wood, we don't need any more natural disasters to happen. That's kind of where I'm at. I kind of pulled my ace there. I guess I showed my hand where I'm standing. But I'm glad this is on the voting meeting. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Say something.
Yes.
I just want to point out that this is not a recent issue on sanitation. If you look back, how many city managers am I in the past 5, 6 years? I think it's been something that a lot of people have been bringing to the table. It's just not been discussed as well as you all have discussed it and dove into as well as you all have. I've seen some stuff out saying that, Sarah's not managing people correctly. That is not how this issue began, by one person not managing correctly.
Oh, in no means. I'm not, in fact,
Yeah.
I want you to know something. Again, I've learned more about sanitation because I challenge.
And sewer.
I
Yeah, and
challenge
sewer.
the people I serve with. I went to dozens of communities and talked about this. And to me, it's a slap in the, well, let me not say that. It's an injustice to you, your staff, to finance, to the city manager, because you are working hard, and let's be honest, the heartbeat of this city ebbs and flows through finance. That is, we have to find money. We have to find money to pay the bills. And when the bills start excessive, it's kind of like my household. I run things in my house. I don't live right on the edge. And that rainy day fund, whatever we want to call it, we have some money there, but we need to be careful about how we're spending it, because the next thing you know, the presentation we had at the beginning of 2005, we don't want that to happen. And I think all of us are working together to make sure none of that happens. And I think this is one of those things, right? It has nothing to do with staffing. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do that I think, if we go privatization, well, they're for profit. Well, they're a company. They make money. I know they got to make money, but we're looking at, like I said, you mentioned, from a $30 a month, where if we keep it in-house to I think the low, $18.99.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was bi-weekly recycling, and I have my opinion on that too. I love that they gave a percentage in their memo that.
36%.
What was it?
36.
Yeah, we have approximately 36% participation rate for recycling
yeah.
in the community. in the city.
36%, and we go bi-week. Since the bi-week to recycle, it's been really good for me. I mean, I've got one of the larger cans, and I think I asked one of the companies, everyone could have a large recycling can.
Yes.
I mean, the size of your recycling can really makes no difference, correct? The other thing is they could give additional cans.
Yes.
I am in favor of people having, if they want 2 or 3 cans. I don't know, at that point, we need to work out where that actually, they're paying for that, right? I don't think that we disseminate that among everybody else. You get what you get, and then if you want more, you have to pay for it.
Correct.
I mean, that's like ordering a burger with extra food, extra patty, you gotta pay for it, right?
Add the egg.
So, I'm
Add
just
the egg.
telling you.
Yeah, no.
I like 2 patties on my burger, but
I'm aligned with
when
you.
I order it, I gotta pay for it. I mean, that's just how it is. So,
Two patties. Add the egg. Don't
2
forget the egg.
patties. But I appreciate you coming up here. I didn't mean to put you on the spot,
okay.
but I appreciate Jason talking about it. This is something that, and again, and I think it was Laura Haig that was city manager then, that I attended, and she brought this up. I found it odd, and then here I am, or we are dealing with this, so.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
I also wanted to say thank you for spending the time with us across all schedules to kind of figure out where we all lie on this topic. But I appreciate you educating us and setting up time with both responders. And
No problem.
I'm looking forward to our voting meeting. I think it'll be a good, I think we'll have a good turnout.
Good.
Thank you. Anything else under unfinished business? Any new business that has come before the board? Hear none, see none. We'll move on to board comments. Anybody have anything? Good. I just wanted to say, since yesterday was International Women's Day, shout out to the staff, the ladies on the staff. You all are appreciated. Just working with you all and educating me on all things. And then I really enjoyed working with Commissioner Unger. So thank you, ladies, for all you do. Outside of that,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
we are adjourned.